Well, namaste. On behalf of Chairperson Ms. Shubhra Maheshwari and her committee, I, Gunjan Sindhi, Honorary Secretary FICCI Flow, would like to extend a warm welcome to the exuberant and altruistic Ms. Bhagyashree and a very benevolent Ms. Shruti Mota, our distinguished past chair, Ms. Sona Chatwani, our esteemed members, and all the men in the gathering. We would now request everybody to rise for the national anthem, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय ही भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
I request our illustrious guest speakers, Ms. Bhagyashree, Ms. Shruti Mota, Ms. Sona Chatwani, Dr. Anuradha Reddy, Dr. Supriya, Dr. Sweta Agarwal, and Dr. Naveena. Please step forward for lighting of the lamp. On this occasion of Organ Donation Day, we have all the doctors present in the gathering doing the lighting of the lamp. Since we cannot take our organs to afterlife, the best possible way is to recycle them, and that is possible by donation. You will continue to live in many hearts and many prayers, even when you're not there. Donate your organs and spread smiles across smiles. There are organ donation forms kept on the tables. If you so choose to take that decision today, please do it, fill in the form and hand it over at the registration desk. I request Core Committee, EC heads, and Power Pride to step forward for a picture, please.
Just a second, please. Yeah, ma'am, just a second. One more, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we have the core committee?
Core committee.
I would now request Chairperson Ms. Shubhra Maheshwari to felicitate the speakers.
Just a second, just a second, just a second. Thank you. Just a second. Just a second, just a second, just a second. Can
Requesting Chairperson to address this August gathering.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for starting late. I think this is the first event we've gotten a little late. So guys, you're a piece of the puzzle of someone else's life. You may never know where you fit, but others will fill the holes in their lives with pieces of you. Give yourself and those in need an elixir of life by pledging your organs. Organ donation is a very noble deed, but its power is still undervalued. Every year, hundreds and thousands of people are waiting for a transplant to live healthier, more productive lives. Yet, there is an increasing discrepancy between the number of patients on the wait list and the available number of deceased donor organs. This topic of organ donation is very, very important than most of us realize. For society and for individuals, it directly affects. According to a survey in India, every year about 5 lakh people die because of non-availability of organs, 2 lakh people die due to liver diseases, and 50,000 people die because of heart diseases. Moreover, 1,50,000 people await a kidney transplant every day, but only 5,000 get amongst them. It affects more than the donors and than the recipients. It affects the families, friends, colleagues, and acquaintances whose loved ones need this. Hence, FICCI Flow at organ donation. Before we dwell further, just a little glimpse of our term at Flow Hyderabad. On August 15th, we are celebrating 75 years of Indian independence with a flag hoisting at Government Girls High School at Bansilalpet. We are also inaugurating a computer lab there as a part of Seed to Succeed initiative to promote computer literacy in girls. We would be delighted to have all of you join us in a show of patriotism and commitment to Flow's motto of power to empower. This initiative of computer education is entirely worked upon by the Seed to Succeed head, Ms. Sarita Rao, who's not only worked on the initiative but also raised funds to support the initiative. Our annual retreat is planned for the month of September. We are off to Rajasthan, Ranthambore, where we look forward to building bonds and camaraderie while immersed in culture, wildlife, and nature. We value your suggestions and feedback. Always drop in a little note. Trust me, I really value those little slips which are brought to me after the event. Subscription renewal, I'd announced last time also. We are at the deadline, so very soon there would be a lot of names that may be removed who may not be able to get our messages. Without further ado, let's learn more about organ donation. Your organ could be someone's missing piece. Thank you.
Requesting our Women with Wings lead, Ms. Neetu Surana, to introduce our revered guest today, Ms. Bhagyashree.
Thank you, Gunjan. Ms. Bhagyashree belongs to the royal family of Sangli in Maharashtra. She is an Indian actress and a social worker. She stepped into the industry and began her acting career with Amol Palekar's Kachi Dhoop, but won hearts as the innocent Suman in Maine Pyar Kiya. She is a polyglot who has acted in Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, and Bengali films. The rising star had already captivated hearts across the country as her career continued its meteoric rise, the multi-talented woman that she is. She is a certified nutritionist and a fitness enthusiast. She is associated with various social activities in support of women and their rights. She has been working in favor of girl child across the country and is also the brand ambassador for Women's Protection Cell in the city of Lucknow, UP. Last but not the least, that she has pledged to be an organ donor with Shruti's Live King Size, Die King Size Foundation. She is an inspiration for everyone who is making this world a better place for not just women, but for all mankind. Thank you. Here we have with us Ms. Bhagyashree.
Thank you, Neetu, for introducing our revered guest. Well, this is for our guest who's going to take us through this journey. Ms. Shruti Mota, the founder of Live King Size, Die King Size Foundation, is passionate about the cause of organ donation and has been promoting awareness since 2017. The foundation has some of the top transplant doctors of India doing pioneering work in this area. Joint director of ROTO is also an advisor on the board. The foundation enjoys the support of eminent personalities from diverse fields who have given themselves and pledged to this foundation. They have donated, I beg your pardon, people like Kapil Dev, Geet Sethi, Suresh Oberoi, of course, Ms. Bhagyashree, Shamak Davar, Usha Uttup, Harish Bhimani, author Chitra Banerjee, Divya Karuni, Swami Nityanand Charandas of ISKCON. A TEDx speaker, Shruti has been invited by several prestigious organizations to give awareness talks. The Honorable former President of India, late Pranab Mukherjee, was the chief guest at that event. She is organized and moderated. She has spoken several times on radio and television, promoting awareness through newspapers as well as social media, receiving thousands of pledges. She hopes to bring about a paradigm shift in thinking patterns so that in a few years, no one dies for want of an organ. Good luck to you in your endeavor. Requesting Shubhra to take the session forward.
Hi, Bhagyashree. So you have pledged, and you've pledged to be an organ donor with Shruti's Live King Size, Die King Size Foundation. So what prompted you to do so? If you could share us your thought process behind it.
First of all, good afternoon to everyone, and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. We are on the 75th year of independence, and a lot of independent women over here. That makes me feel so, so good. Pledging organs. I think that is something that had always been on my mind, but I'm sure like many of you women over here, we always wonder how do we go about doing it? Who do we talk to? How is it done? There are 10,000 questions that run across our minds. And the most important is it a process that will make us look ugly? Will it disfigure the body? These are things that, come across every layperson's mind. And it's something that you all worry about and you don't know who to ask the right questions to. So when I met Shruti, and I just bombarded her with a whole lot of questions, and I'm going to do the same right now. So all the questions that came to my mind, I guess we share those same worries and apprehensions and doubts in our mind when we talk about organ donation. The very first organ donation was done in 1954. That's a long, long time ago. And that was a kidney donor, and it was done only between two brothers. So after that, one kind of wonders whether we can do it to random strangers. Would it make sense actually to donate our organs? Would our families get disturbed by it? And I guess because of all this worry, doubt, apprehension, and people not being aware of the subject, in India, only 0.01% of people actually get organs donated to them. The rest of them, unfortunately, just miss out. So I think we as an educated society, if we can add to that 0.01% in whatever way we can, I think it's half the battle won. So first and foremost, something that's the simplest and something that all of us have been hearing about ever since Aishwarya Rai did it, eye donation. So I'm going to delve right into it. And Shruti, do you have a mic? No, yeah. So Shruti, how do you actually go about doing an eye donation? I mean, where do you start from?
So first of all, thank you, Fiki Flow Hyderabad, for having me here and for having this event on this very important day, 13th August, World Organ Donation Day. And like Bhagyashree very rightly said, 75th year of our independence. It is an act of patriotism when we can think of our countrymen and we can contribute to them. So very special occasion to be having this event. Thank you to the chairperson, Shubhra Maheshwari, and to like I said, I'm very moved that for so many months she's been coordinating with me, the honorary secretary, Shubhra Sindhi, Gunjan Sindhi. And so before I get into eye donation, I will just give a brief introduction about what is organ donation. But before that, I have to share that Bhagyashree and I went to the same school. So it is very special to be having this interaction. She was a batch senior to me, so it makes it doubly special to be interacting with a fellow school person. And what is organ donation? In very simple terms, the definition is that organ donation is the noble gift of one's organs to someone suffering from end-stage organ failure and whose only hope of survival is an organ transplant. And organ donation can be of two kinds. It can be by a living donor, and it can also be by a deceased donor. It's called a cadaveric donation. So here we are going to be talking about cadaveric donation more. My foundation, the Live King Size, Die King Size, we focus more on cadaveric donation. In the West, 90% of all donations come from cadaveric donations, only 10% from living. In India, currently it is the opposite. We are trying to reverse it because a deceased donor has so many more organs to give. So we'll be talking more in detail. And the pretty lady in the green, can I ask you, why are you looking so worried? As I said, we will be talking about deceased. We're talking about donating after we are gone. So everyone, please relax and please keep smiling. We are not extracting any organs here, okay? So just remember that and keep smiling. All I'll be doing is sharing some very, very beautiful stories with all of you.
So, I mean, that's the reason why I said let's start with something very simple.
Yeah.
So once we get into that, then we can get into, you know, heavier stuff, which people would, I mean, I think everyone had those 1,000 questions like I did.
We'll share those stories. They're really very beautiful. So regarding eye donation, it is actually the simplest form of donation because it can happen at home itself. And if there is an aged family member, or if someone has had a heart attack, or whatever, under any circumstances, if someone has even died in the hospital, all that is needed to be done by the family is to call up the eye bank. And in India, the eye bank people actually send their trained doctors to wherever the body is. The procedure is carried out within 20 minutes, and there is no disfigurement. I know that people, you know, some people think there'll be a gaping hole, there'll be a putty. There is nothing, and I have seen it happen. You can't even tell that eyes have been donated. Because what is taken out is the cornea, not the whole eye. The procedure has undergone a huge change in the last few years. So only the cornea is taken out, which is like a contact lens. How many of us here know what a contact lens look like? So many, right? It is just that thin. So it is just taken out with no added trauma to the family.
And Shruti, you also told me that a single donor can help 6 people get vision. How does that happen?
Isn't it amazing what science has done in the rapid progress it has made in the last few years? That earlier a pair of corneas would give vision to 2 people. Now it actually gives vision to 6 people, up to 6 people, because the cornea is made up of 3 layers. So depending on who needs which layer, so a single pair of corneas can actually help 6 people get vision. It is actually mind-blowing. You know, organ donation.
I think this is something that you know, none of us knew about. You know, so it's not about a single person getting vision, but if you can help 6 lives, you know, that is literally a mile forward than what we would thought of taking a single step, right?
Yes. In fact, you know what man landing on the moon, what it meant to space science. That is what organ donation means to medical science. It is such a huge leap for mankind. So we should really not take it for granted, and that is why awareness events like this are so important. Yes.
How much time can we wait? I mean, when does this become an impossible thing? You know, how fast or how soon do we have to get in touch with a doctor to?
Very important question, very important. I was speaking to Bhagashri the other day. Once I had an 18-year-old girl. She called me at 6 o'clock in the evening. She was pleading with me. She said, my mother died at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've just come to know about eye donation, and I'm very keen to donate her eyes. And I was just so moved that this 18-year-old girl is so keen to donate, but unfortunately, for lack of information, she had missed the time period. It has to be done within 6 to 8 hours. Eye donation and skin donation within 6 to 8 hours, and doctors say not to wait till the 6th hour. And the earlier you do it, the better it is. If you want more people to be benefited, like we say, 6 people can be benefited. So the earlier we do it, the more people can be benefited. All that is needed is for the family to do is keep the death certificate ready, not even from the municipality. Your family doctor can give it. Even if that is not ready, the eye bank whom you call, they also come with a doctor, so that doctor also can issue the death certificate. So no reason for delaying, really.
And what happens if a person is very old, like you said that an 18-year-old's mother expired, so was she too old, or what is it? I mean, supposing someone has got specs or, you know, has had a cataract or glaucoma, you know, can they still donate?
Very good question. So the answer is yes. Nobody should disqualify themselves from thinking that they cannot donate. Eye donation is one kind of donation that can be done till any age, mostly, in most cases, even till the age of 100, they say. And all these eye problems like glaucoma, or if you've had a surgery for cataract, or still suffering from cataract, eyes can actually still be donated. In fact, there was a 92-year-old lady who had pledged all her organs for donation, but when she actually died, her other organs were not suitable, but her eyes and skin, her skin was transplanted to an 85-year-old burns patient, and her eyes were also donated. So eyes and skin can be donated till a very, very advanced stage.
So like you told me that eyes and skin come under tissue donation, right? So another very important aspect is skin donation, which we do not really think about as something that we can donate. But especially in our country, there are thousands and thousands of burn victims, people who are suffering in homes, not having enough medical help, and they die painful deaths. Had there been enough skin donation, probably, yes, with burnt victims, they do get disfigured, but the skin donation can really help them, and they can live a life of dignity. So I think skin donation is something also that we should think about. It's not gory, it's not like you have blood oozing out of everywhere. It definitely isn't like that. It's done very, very systematically, right?
Absolutely. So before I move to skin donation, just a few pointers about eye donation, what the family needs to do after calling the eye bank people also. Very simple, just try and keep the fan switched off, because otherwise the eyes tend to dry. So we want more people to benefit, and try and keep the head a little raised. If you can keep something under the head, and the AC can be on, and try and keep something moist on the eyes, maybe a wet piece of cloth or a cotton or something. That's it. That's all we need to do. And a little blood test is done just to rule out HIV or AIDS or something. So that is it that is required. Coming to skin donation, it is actually so fascinating. Again, there is no disfigurement. Doctors tell me that it is actually done with a butter knife. And again, the skin doctor, the skin bank sends their people home. In cities where there is a skin bank, they send their people home. In Bombay, Bhagishri is in Bombay, she'll know that one phone call to the eye bank and they will automatically connect you to the skin bank. You call the skin bank, they'll connect you to the eye bank. So their team comes and they apply some solution where the skin comes off so easily. And it's from parts of the body that are not visible, you know, from the back of the buttocks or something. So it's really not visible. And it can be life-saving. It's not cosmetic, it's life-saving. There are acid attack victims, there are burns victims. And the internal environment, the skin is the largest organ that protects us. And it can actually take away someone's life if the skin has been burnt. So the skin donation is actually a life-saving donation. And like you, Bhagishri, rightly said, that these come under tissue donation, eyes and skin. So this can be done in the case of a regular death, that is cardiac death. And we'll come to the other organs later about the heart and the liver and the kidney. All that come under a brain death. But the eyes and skin, it's so readily done. There are many other tissues as well which can be donated in the case of a regular death. And those are the bones, the heart valves. These are also tissues, but these can't be done at home. If there is a death at the hospital, then if the family is willing, then these also are donated. Very recently, we have hand donation as well. You know, there are people who lose their hands in unfortunate accidents in a factory. So a hand is donated. There's a face donation that is happening. So it's just incredible what science can actually do.
I think now the next one, which I think all of us know about and we read so often about, is kidney donation. We've got a long list of recipients that have written their names down in various hospitals. Many of them are undergoing dialysis, and many of them have this problem. All of us as human beings are born with 2 kidneys, but let me tell you, we can survive on one. So, well, it started, like I said, way back in 1954, when one brother wanted to save the other, and he said, "You can have my kidney." But can you tell us something more about kidney donation?
So I have to add that in 1994, India has passed an act. It's called the THOA, Transplant of Human Organs Act. So, and tissues. So organs and tissues are all covered under the act. So to make this process absolutely transparent, brain death and everything, so to remove doubts from the minds of people, kidney
Because
donation.
everyone knows there's an entire segment of black marketing that does happen for selling organs. But yeah, this is what the government is trying to do to make it absolutely clear and transparent.
So commercial dealing in organs is it's a crime punishable by law, and there can be imprisonment, there's a heavy fine. So doctors have to beware, and now all this is a thing of the past. You know, India was being seen as kidney market of the world. Anyone who needed a kidney could come to India because there was so much of poverty, so a kidney would be sold. But organs are not tradable commodities. Organs can only be gifted. We have to respect what God has given us, and we have to gift it for the joy of giving, not as a tradable commodity. Now, how it actually happens is because these are organs, and these are not tissues. Now, when the distinction between organs and tissues, it's a technical thing, but I will do it in very simple layman terms, the way I have understood it, is that these organs are very capillary-rich organs. They need blood supply all the time. The minute the blood supply stops, this organ will not be of use. Whereas tissues, the eyes and the skin, they can survive without the blood supply. That is why they are put in a bank. We have eye bank, we have a skin bank, but we've never heard of a kidney bank or a heart bank. It has to be immediately transplanted the moment it is extracted.
So let me just cut you in between. There's a question that even runs through my mind, that is this only possible after a person is brain dead, or is a living donation also possible where kidney is concerned?
Yes. So kidneys are paired organs, and like Bhagishri said, we can live very comfortably on one kidney. A person can continue doing everything with one kidney very happily, but that one kidney can only be donated legally to a close family member or to a relative. Anything else is looked down by the government. You have to prove that there is a reason why you're donating, because like we said, to rule out commercial dealing. So a living donation is possible for the kidneys, A living donation is possible for even a piece of the liver. Liver is something that regenerates. So a portion of the liver, in fact, a wife donated a portion of her liver to her husband who needed it on Valentine's Day. So, you know, it's the biggest gift that can be given to somebody as an act of love.
This is also called starfish growth. You know, a starfish tends to grow even if one of its limbs are cut off. So it's one of those kind of amazing facts about our body that we'd probably not know. But our liver does grow to be its normal size over a period of time. There have been people that have given a liver donation to, say, a child. And with the child's regular growth, the liver also grows along with the child. Yeah, so it is possible to do that. Go ahead.
Yes, and regarding a little bit on the details of how kidneys or solid organs like the heart and lungs can be donated. So the distinction that I was mentioning about a brain death and a cardiac death, both are deaths, both are irrefutable kinds of death. In a cardiac death, the heart has stopped first. In a brain death, the brain stops first. Now, what is brain death? Now, brain is the controlling center of our body. It is the brain which instructs our heart to beat. Everything that is happening in our body is because the brain is instructing. But sometimes, if there is a road accident or if there is a massive brain hemorrhage, sometimes there's a bullet shot, there is a portion of the brain called the brain stem, which controls all the vital functions of our, of our consciousness, of breathing. If the doctors find that that is irreversibly and permanently damaged, of course, the body is rushed to the operation theater. If there's an accident, obviously, is rushed to the operation theater. The doctors are doing the best to save, and the person is put on ventilator support and all kinds of support.
But then does that happen even for coma patients?
No, coma is different. A coma patient is not eligible for organ donation.
I think this is one question
It's
which probably
very,
everyone
very
would want to
important.
know.
It's very important. And Bhagashri being here, we all know, we've seen many Bollywood movies in the 70s and 80s where a person would come back from a coma and say, "Main kahan hu?" So a coma patient, there's always a chance of coming back, even after 20 years, after 5 years, after 5 months, because the brain stem is not permanently and irreversibly damaged. The person has gone into a state of deep sleep. So, but brain death is different. And because the doctors have ascertained that this person is never going to be able to breathe, will never become conscious again because the brain has died. But the heart is still beating. And how does that happen? If the brain has stopped, how is the heart still beating? Because the person happens to be in the ICU and the person is on ventilator support. So it is the ventilator that is making the heart still beat. And the heart is pumping blood to the other vital organs like the kidneys, like the lungs, like the liver. If the person has died on the road immediately, the blood supply has stopped to the other organs. So that is, an immediate death on the road cannot, it's not a brain death. Any road accident is not a brain death. The person has to be on ventilator support. Now, for a maximum of 24 to 72 hours, that body can, the heart can beat because of the ventilator support. If the heart were taken out of the body, the heart would still beat. It is not the brain doing the job, it is the machine doing the job. And within those 24 to 72 hours, if the family consents to organ donation, the doctors ask the family, and they ask that we could not save your loved one, but you can change the story of so many different families by providing the kidney or liver or heart of your loved one. And if the family consents to it, then the body is moved from the ICU to the operation theater. And then depending on which organs are healthy to be used, the team of doctors, the heart specialists, the kidney, the liver, these have a time span of transplanting. Because somebody asked me the question before Bhagashri arrived, that what is the time span? So like I mentioned, that for eyes it has to be done within 6 to 8 hours of death. But for the brain death, the heart can be kept beating for a maximum of 24 to 72 hours. After that, even on ventilator support, the heart will stop beating. So in that little window that we have,
So can I just
Yeah,
add
yeah,
to this
yeah.
here that even to check, like they say, there's a difference between coma and when a person is brain dead. There are certain procedures that doctors have to follow, and there are two separate entities, groups that come and test the patient whether the patient is actually brain dead. And there are certain procedures that happen, one of which is also putting ice cold water into the eardrum to see whether the person reacts. There's cornea testing, and there's a bone injection testing. All these tests are performed by two separate faculties of doctors before they can pronounce that the person is brain dead. They also switch off the ventilator and keep the ventilator off for 2 minutes before starting the ventilator, just to make sure that, okay, once the heart rate starts falling, that means that the person is actually beyond coming back to life. So, isn't it?
absolutely, absolutely. So it is an independent 4 doctors who are not even associated with the doctors of the hospital. 4 doctors come, and these, it's a protocol that's followed worldwide, the brain dead declaration. It's not as if it's going to differ from hospital to hospital, and it's been followed for so many years. And it is irrefutable. It has never happened that a brain death, suddenly a person will wake up. It's gone. The person is dead. The brain has died. And again, I mean, just to assure the family, after 6 to 8 hours, another team of 4 doctors will come and again check all the parameters. So it is absolutely a foolproof process that doctors do. And so as I was mentioning, so when the families agree to it, then the team of doctors carry out whatever organs can be extracted, and immediately it has to be transplanted. Sometimes we read in newspapers about the green corridor. Anyone here knows what a green corridor is? Yes? You'd like to answer? Yes? Yeah? Yes.
What the police does is clear up the road for the green corridor so that the ambulance carrying the donated organ is transported to the hospital where the surgery or the transplant is going to take place. So they clear the traffic, so much so that even if the CM's car or cavalcade is on the way, it's made to move to the side. They see that there are no stray dogs on the road, no vans, no carts, and the complete route is guarded. Then what they do is that from the operation theatre, the dedicated staff takes the organ. They are giving clearance from the lift down to the ambulance. The ambulance has an experienced driver who is absolutely trained in speed and safety. So they have very strict training. They have excellent drivers who can take them from point 1. Remember that it can also be an aircraft. Your organ could have arrived in an aircraft from another city by an air ambulance or from another hospital where the donor has just died. So to cover, in the other hospital, the recipient hospital, the hospital staff is on alert. They have a blue code. Entire staff reaches the operation theatre, get into their jobs, and believe me, as soon as the organ arrives, it is transported to the operation theatre so that they don't waste time in transporting. And let me tell all the audience over here, Hyderabad holds a record for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just going to add that. And so I always say that organ donation is a beautiful symphony of human effort. So many elements, so many pieces of the jigsaw coming into place. The hospital authorities, the police authorities, the donor family, the transplant coordinators, NGOs, so many to save someone's life, really. And
We'll just rewind a little bit, because I'm sure people want to know what happens before the green corridor. Like when you are harvesting the organs, what happens to
yeah.
the body? How is it given to the
Yes.
family members? Because that is something that I think everyone would want to know. The disfigurement or how the body would look, because I think everyone wants to see their loved ones in the perfect condition.
So the surgery is carried out like it is done for a living person. And like I mentioned that the experts from the team are doing it. It's the heart surgeon who is doing the heart transplant, who's extracting the heart, the liver surgeon who's extracting the liver. So the body is then stitched up and handed back to the family with utmost dignity and respect, and all the funeral rites can be carried out by the family. So there is nothing to fear. It's not. It's just not done like that. It's done in the operation theatre under sterile conditions, and there is no disfigurement. It is like a regular surgery.
Shruti, can I break you here?
Yes.
So who bears the expenses? I assume it's the donor's family that takes care of the
So the donor's family, the charges, the cost is never passed on to the donor family. So yeah, either the recipient or in many cases the state, the authorities, the hospital authorities, they will bear the cost. Never passed on to the donor family. The donor does not have any cost to incur.
Oh, great.
I think now what we also want to know is how should the family members go about this? Like, I think if any one of us do want to, pledge our organs, how do we tell our family members? What are the procedures that they have to take? Who should they call? What should be their immediate reaction?
So like I mentioned that for eye donation and skin donation, for this the family needs to take a proactive step because they need to contact the eye bank and the skin bank authorities. Every major city has many eye banks and skin banks. Your family doctor will help you to connect with the eye bank and skin bank. But regarding the solid organs like the kidney, heart, liver, the family does not even have to do anything because the body is already in the ICU when the brain death declaration happens. So it is the doctors who will come out and ask the family, do you wish to donate? The family only has to say yes, and then the whole process will be streamlined by the hospital and the doctors. The family has to really do nothing. All the person has to do is if we have a desire to donate, we have to tell our families while we are living, and we have to do it unambiguously, and we have to do it many times because families can forget. That is a moment of trauma for the family. Losing a loved one is never easy. Even if someone is sick, a family can forget. So you have to do it very often. Say every 13th August on Organ Donation Day, remind yourself to remind your families that, hey, I want to do this. There is a doctor on our team who says that every birthday of mine, when I cut my cake, I tell my family that if you really want to give me a gift, then after I pass on, if I have a regular death, please donate my eyes and skin, and if it is a brain death, then please remember to donate my other organs. He
I think
does
this
that with every
birthday is an
birthday.
excellent thing, and
Yeah, it truly
Wonderful.
is. It's
It is the biggest gift that we can give ourselves. Not only are we helping another family, it is the biggest gift that we can give ourselves. And I think that we are that privileged generation that has the ability to make a difference even in our going. The generations before us did not have the know-how to do it, and the generations after us are going to have too much know-how. With all the rapid advancement in stem cell research, all that is going on, probably the organ will be duplicated in the body itself. So we are that privileged generation. We want to do good during our lives, during our lifetimes. That is living king size. And we have the opportunity to die king size as well. So let us give ourselves that gift.
And what happens if maybe the member hasn't told the family? Can the family take that decision on their own?
So absolutely, the final consent is from the family. The body in India is the property of the next of kin. So even if one has signed the form, one is carrying the donor card, I have to mention that Bhagyashree is a pledger, and she also carries her card with her all the time.
It's very important. Like you,
yeah.
like all of us now carry our Aadhaar cards along with us. One should make sure that one carries the donor card along with, or, you know, on one's person, because one never really knows, right?
So once you sign the pledge form, you get the donor card, you keep it within your wallet. But it is the family's wish that prevails. So if one's family says no, then nothing happens. So it's very important to tell one's family members. On the other hand, if a family has never spoken about it, I'm going to be talking about stories where little children have passed away, or there's some aged family member. Even in that case, it is the discretion of the family to donate the eyes, the skin, the other organs. So it is completely the discretion of the family. I have to say that there are some people who come to me and tell me, "Mera to man hai, par my family members wo kabhi nahi manenge, wo nahi karenge." Now I have to tell you that a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, I got to know that their grandmother, was always very keen to donate her eyes, and she said, "Beta, tu mere jarur donate kar dena." She told her pota, poti, bahu, everyone knew that she wanted to donate, and sab bol rahe the ki dadi aisi bol rahi hai, hum kuch nahi karne wale hain. They had thought. But when she passed away, it is such an emotionally charged moment that you want to fulfill the last wish of your loved one. And everyone said, "Nahi, dadi hamesha kya karti thi. How can we not fulfill her last wish?" So they did donate her eyes.
See, there are also a lot of myths and I think social or traditional taboos that we all are brought up with. People from different cultures have different things told to them that to go on to the next birth, we need our complete body in a whole form. Yes, there are people, yes, of course, there are peoples who are told that we cannot move on to the next life if we aren't in a complete form. How do you
Shruti,
bust that myth?
In our own audience, we've had this question that why are you promoting this? Why are you doing this event also?
No, this is my favorite question. This is what actually, it actually charges me because, like you said, people are saying that people have this thing that we have to go whole. There are doctors, so many doctors here in the faculty. We know that sometimes even, we have to take out the uterus. Sometimes people, I don't know how many of us here, when we are sick, the uterus, the gallbladder, a portion of the liver, so many of us have had that removed. What happens then? What happens then? So here we are talking about donating after we are gone, when we don't even need it. And when we talk about culture, what is culture? Is it something stagnant, or is it something vibrant and that moves with time? Did our forefathers use mobile phones? Is that part of our culture? So we only have to pause and think. I hear all kinds of, and I welcome all kinds of myths because that enhances I can address each point. A common question people have, a common fear, if I donate my eyes, what if I'm born blind in my next birth? If I donate my organs, what if I don't achieve moksha? Can we pause for a moment and ask ourselves, are we going to trivialize God like this? That we give vision to somebody, we give life to somebody, and he is going to deprive us of our vision in our next birth. He's going to deprive us of moksha. Is that the kind Ram we are praying to, the kind Krishna, Jesus, Allah, whichever God we are praying to? Is that how karma functions? We only need to pause and think. Everywhere in nature, we see the message of giving, paropkar. Rivers don't flow for themselves. The waters are for everyone to benefit. Trees don't keep the fruits to themselves. They are for us to benefit. The shade, the sun does not keep the sunlight to itself. So everywhere in nature, in Prakriti, we have the message of paropkar, giving. So
Well, we've
many
also
religions.
heard some people saying that if I donate my heart, maybe I'll start loving someone else.
You know, we've had people donate their hearts, right? People have donated their hearts. By that logic, if they have been reborn, they should have been reborn without a heart. Have we heard of anyone being born without a heart in the whole world? If they can be born blind because they've donated, then why have they not been born without a heart? So I think we can just be rest assured, so many spiritual leaders have not only supported the cause, they have themselves pledged for organ donation. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Sister Shivani, Sadhguru. In fact, Sadhguru has something so beautiful to share, which I would, can we have the AV please? Can we have, from pillar to post, we leave no stone unturned to try and save our loved one. All these questions, these doubts, these myths will vaporize into thin air. Right or wrong?
I think, if there's any other question, because I think we've covered most of the questions here. Yeah, go ahead, please, please.
Can
Please
I
pass
ask
the
a
mic to
question,
them, no?
please? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know one thing about organ trafficking. Trafficking.
Yes.
I mean, like we say in India, we don't have much of organ donation, but if we see illegally, most of the underprivileged people, they are selling their organs for meager amounts. Why is that not banned at a very high scale and used in the most correct fashion? And the second question is, like when we have a common number like 100, dial police, 101, dial ambulance, why can't we have a single number all across India for eye donation or any other donation so that it's very easy
I think
for
that's a very
everybody?
valid point. That's a brilliant point.
Because I just lost my father very recently and we wanted to do something, but by the time we could even think of, we had lost around 4 hours. And I knew that I'm a science student, so I knew that he was an old man suffering from Parkinson's. So I understood that most of his organs have already lost value for anybody. So for that time I realized, why can't we have a universal number all across?
That's a wonderful suggestion. We have many doctors here in the audience, and I will also take this up. It's a great suggestion. And regarding the commercial dealing of organs that you said, now, I encounter all kinds of questions, and there are religious myths, and there are medical questions that people have. Someone told me that I am not going to pledge because of the black marketing. I said, look, then you are actually supporting it, because when does black marketing of anything happen? Any commodity, black marketing happens when there is a supply-demand mismatch, right? So by deciding not to donate, you are actually fueling the supply-demand mismatch. And to address that question, any commodity that the black marketing happens, there can be hoarding of grains. When there are floods and famines, there can be hoarding and it can be sold later at a higher price. But organs cannot be hoarded. Like we mentioned about the green corridor. Why? Because time is of essence. So nothing can be hoarded. In any case, someone or the other is benefiting. A life is being saved. Somewhere, someone is getting that thing. So where you're talking about the black marketing, that, like I mentioned, that India was being seen as a kidney hub, and the government, the law has become very strict. There can be up to 10 years of imprisonment if one is caught dealing in, selling and buying of organs. So it is.
In fact, I think this point is very valid, because during the COVID time, the onset of COVID for the last 2 years, there has been a huge section of doctors that were, in fact, pulled up for something like this, declaring a patient to be COVID dead so that organs could be harvested. This happened in Delhi, and it was in the news.
The other organs cannot be used in the case of a regular death. The other organs, and like I even mentioned before Bhagyashree arrived, that, no one can murder someone and use someone's organs because the blood supply immediately stops. So kidneys, liver, heart, nothing can be used. The
So
eyes
that
also
is very
will not be.
filmy, what
That-
happens in films.
Yeah. So
वैसे
I
नहीं होता
mentioned,
है.
because it's only to sensationalize. Even the eyes will not be used of such a person because it will go in post-mortem and all that, police case. It will, the whole purpose will be defeated. And regarding anything else, like you said, the media takes it up very, very strictly, and nobody is going to be spared. Buying and selling of organs gradually, I hope, is going to be a thing of the past. Now, I have to mention that in countries like Spain, now India is a country where today we have these pledge forms, right, where we have to sign to show our desire to donate. It is called the opt-in system. We opt to become organ donors. But there are many countries around the world, and Spain was the first one. Spain is known as the gold standard in organ donation. So they have an opt-out system because every citizen is a deemed donor there. There's no form to fill. Every citizen is a deemed donor. There you fill a form when you don't wish to donate. For some reason, then you have to fill the form to opt out. And if someone opts out, in later life, if they ever need an organ, they will find themselves at the bottom of the waiting list. So it works like that. Many countries, Spain, very recently the UK, Netherlands, France, even Singapore. So many people tell me that, Shruti, why don't you make this become compulsory in India as well? Why
Actually,
don't
we
you
should
make
start a
this the
movement
opt-out
of
system?
this. Yes.
हम क्या क्या नहीं दान करते हैं? हम कपड़ा दान करते हैं, अन्न दान करते हैं, सोना दान करते हैं. क्यों ना हम दुनिया के लिए एक मिसाल बन जाएं that we don't need any law to tell us to donate. We are donating simply for the joy of giving. This is India. We don't need a law. What we need is awareness programs like this, just to create the awareness. खाली ध्यान मोड़ने की देर है. हम Indians, I think we are a loving and giving people. हम ऐसे ही देने तैयार हो जाते हैं.
Hello, ma'am.
Absolutely. We have a few questions.
Yes.
I have a small doubt. A patient, cancer patient, BP patient, sugar patient is equally, organs are equally good as a normal person?
Very good question. So doctors say that don't disqualify yourself prematurely from pledging. Like I mentioned, there's a difference between pledging and actual donation. Pledging is signing this pledge form today and you get your donor card. Donating is when it happens later, and I wish you all a very healthy and happy life. May we all live to be 100. But at that point of time, which organs are healthy, which are not, that is a call that the doctors take at that point of time. Like I mentioned, for cancer patients, even the eyes, in most cancer patients, the eyes can be donated. My friend lost her husband to cancer 2 years ago. She called me up 2 weeks before he died, and she said he wants to donate. Can a cancer patient donate the eyes? And I said yes, and that is when I spoke to the doctor to make sure, and the doctor said that now we can help 6 people get vision. And I went to pay my respects to that person because my friend's husband. And, people who did not know me came to me. It was, again, such an emotionally charged moment, right? We could not save this cancer patient, but he, in his going, has changed the story, not of 6 individuals, but of 6 families. The story of 6 families gets changed, isn't it? So don't disqualify yourself prematurely. Some can say, I have diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure. Nothing disqualifies you from pledging. Leave that call to the doctors. 100 years later, that call, whatever is healthy, the doctors will decide at that point of time. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Not a question, but
An
incident
observation.
which I want to share. I think that would help and motivate a lot of people who are sitting here. I'm Dr. Shubhra. In our fraternity, as doctors, there are many doctors who have donated their bodies to the cadaveric lab and asked the families not to cremate it. Because we also need bodies to teach the next generation of students to do what they're doing today. So what we are talking here is just a tip of an iceberg, and the emotion and the giving attitude which we have in the fraternity is to another level. So I urge and ask everybody sitting here, please take out these myths and just donate your organs. And make sure that it's legalized in your forms, in your wills, that nobody can stop taking away your organs when you die. Because as you said, the family is the last person to take the final call on that.
Absolutely. And I also have to add that what Dr. Shubhra just mentioned about full body donation. So that is a little different from organ donation. Even the law governing it is different. And of course, then the body is not handed back to the family because the body is given to science for doctors to research, medical students to research. And the former Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mr. Jyoti Basu, he had given his body for donation. The former Speaker of the Lok Sabha, he had donated his body to science. But it is different from organ donation. The laws are different, the procedure is different, and but it is again a very, very beautiful gift to give back to science, to give back to universe. Also, I want to tell you that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to have a heart brimming with love and joy and gratitude to the universe to be able to think about the universe to give back. In whatever form, whether it's organ donation, whether it's body donation, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Hello, I'm Rekha Gupta. So the question that has been running in my mind is, like after the donation, is it randomly it goes to people or the selection is there that the family can know that if we are selective, like these people can get? Because the thing is, the thing is like it's coming to my mind, will that be used for a better use, better person? Like I will not want that it goes to a person and it's used in an
I think there's a list, right?
Excellent question. So, you know, there is a state-maintained waiting list. The government maintains a waiting list. And when a donor becomes available, if someone has had a brain death and the kidney, liver, heart becomes available, immediately all this is activated. And they find out the best fit. It is not a doctor doing it. It is not a human doing it. It is a computer-generated list taking into account many, many, many parameters. And like blood group is just one of them. It depends on the urgency. Who is going to die in the next 24 hours? Who is the best fit? So the family cannot tell the doctor that, oh, my bua needs this heart. So this family member is dying, so my bua needs it, so can you give the heart? No, it doesn't work like that.
But I think what works is that if you are a donor, then your families can be higher up on the list, right? You are given a preference.
Later, I mean,
Later.
So if your family has donated and later on, I mean, if you're on the waiting list, you are definitely given that preference if you have been part of the donating family. And like you mentioned, can it go to a family member? That happens, like I mentioned, only in a living donation. When we are giving one kidney, it only goes to a close family member because otherwise it's commercial.
A drowned
See, now this is the medical emergency that has happened and how all of us have got anxious, right? And this is what happens even for someone who is going to be dying for want of an organ. It is, you know, sitting in our homes, we think that kahin hota hoga. But it happens so rampantly, it's hard to imagine that it's so rampant. I hope, I'm sure all the doctors will take care, yeah. The lot of doctors, and I'm sure, I'm sure it will be taken care of.
Pool party today.
Oh.
Had a pool party. There's a wedding group, so I'm just hoping things get better.
I hope, I think it will be taken care of. So,
Yeah,
has the question
hi.
been answered? Oh, you
No, I
answered,
haven't. So first I want to thank Shubhra for this session. So my father pledged his eyes and he does keep telling us, you know, often, remember beta ki, you know, and I just randomly Googled today because, you know, the thought till today never came ki, you know, agar aisa hoga to, but there's no clear number. There's a list of eye banks which is coming. How do we know the validity and whom to contact? I mean, you know, till today I never got the thought, but I just checked. What am I
no.
supposed to do then?
No, you want to know who received the eye.
No, whom to contact? Because my father does keep telling me, remember, I have pledged my eyes. You have to call up the eye bank. So there's no clear number anywhere.
Okay, so have you asked your family doctor?
No, I haven't.
Just have to ask your family doctor. He will lead you to the nearest eye bank. There are many eye banks all over. And there is a website called the Eye Bank Association of India. So if you go on that Eye Bank Association of India website, you can find many eye banks close to you, whichever ones are in your city. I recommend that family members save the numbers on their mobile so that at that point of time you're not running around. And we have some numbers on our website as well. But the Eye Bank of Association has numbers all over India, wherever there are eye banks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hello, it's not. Hello, it's not a question. It's just in our family. Today I got to know about organ donation, but as my mother-in-law 10 years back, we have did all the rituals at home and we have donated her body to medical college. What all they want to do, what all doctors wanted to do, they did it. We didn't do any cremation. And after that, 4 years back, my father-in-law died and we have donated the body to the medical college. So it's not a question, it's just a suggestion that our family donates the body to medical college.
How wonderful is that?
Wonderful.
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 Hi, myself Archana Goyal. So, will the patient be shifted to the hospital for removing the organs?
So, in India, the body has to be taken nowhere. Like I mentioned, for the eyes and skin, it can be done at home because the eye bank and the skin bank people send their people home. And in the case of the solid organs like the kidney, liver, heart, the body is already in the ICU.
Okay.
Because if the death happens at home, then the kidney, liver, heart cannot be donated.
Okay.
It's only when it happens in the ICU, then it can be donated. So the body does not have to be shifted. There's
That's
no
because
added
time
trauma.
is of essence over there. So if it was at home, you lose out on time by the time
And
the
the blood
doctors
supply
come.
has stopped to the kidney, liver, heart. So it's not usable if the death happens at home. Only in ICU, if the person is on ventilator support, only then can an actual kidney donation or liver donation happen. So but the body does not have to be shifted anywhere at all. You know, many people have this fear because obviously it adds to the anguish of a family if the body has to be shifted. Nowhere. The body does not have to be taken anywhere.
Thank you.
I'm Priya, and this is actually very emotional for me. So my mother had a brain hemorrhage, and we had to take her to hospital, obviously. She was in the ICU, and she was put on the ventilator. And she had always told me that, you know, I don't want to depend on anybody. And the doctor came and told me that, you know, even if she comes out of the ventilator, she would be a vegetable. So we had to take the call of pulling her off the ventilator. But before we did that, I went, so this was in the biggest hospital in Hyderabad. So I went to the doctor and said, my whole family was with me. And we said, we want to donate her organs, all of them. I mean, whatever can be done, can be taken, can be used for somebody. And he yelled at me so badly, his words still ring in my ears today. He said, why are you already thinking that she is dead? And even at that moment in that very disoriented condition, I knew that what he was saying was not right, but I could not take any other decision but just listen to him and leave from there. I even to date feel bad about it. So my thing is, why would he have said that? Because she was on ventilator.
So was it a brain death? Was the brain death declaration done? Because, you know, every kind of hemorrhage doesn't lead to a brain death. It has to be, the brain stem has to be permanently and irreversibly damaged.
But let me put it one way here, considering that she's very emotional about it. I would say probably one of those doctors who have this thing in their mind, like I said earlier, कि भाई मरने के बाद हमें जन्नत नहीं मिलेगी या दूसरे जहान में हम पूरे के पूरे जाने चाहिए. What I would say to everyone around here is, it's an unfortunate thing, but it's the truth of life. That no matter, even if it's your parent, your spouse, your sibling, or your child, once the breath goes out of your body, it becomes a body. आप घर में मौत होने के बाद you do not refer to that as mom, dad, भाई, बहन, बच्चा. No. You say the body. बॉडी को उठाओ, बॉडी को नहलाओ, बॉडी को क्रिमेट करो. So it becomes the body. When the body, that's all that it is, why can't it be donated? जो हमारे पास है, उनका साथ, उनकी memories, उनकी यादें, उनका प्यार, that will always remain with us. And that's how life should be. We should remember the people for who they are, who they were while they were with us. Once they're moved on to another life or down to the earth, they become what earth is. So we are giving back to the earth, and I would support you. It's very sad that that doctor said this to you, and you would have. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's probably a sad thing that you wanting to do it also you couldn't. But I would just say for all of us here, we love the people that we are with in our daily lives, the ones that live with us, the ones that are around us, supporting us, taking us through lives. And we all need that. We are social animals, so to say, and everyone matters. We all meet for a reason. और किसी की भी मौत हो जाती है तो बहुत दुख होता है. We all feel very sad. But in that death, if we can create life for another human being, what can be better than that? That's the thought that should be there behind organ donation.
Absolutely. And I think you had that intention. That intention itself, I think your family is blessed. Your dad is blessed. Because absolutely. Yeah. So I really feel that it was not a brain death. So please don't feel bad about that. You've donated eyes, and let me tell you, donating eyes is not a small gift. If you play the game of blindfold for 5 minutes, you'll know what it is not to be able to see. To be able to give even the gift of vision is a huge gift. A child who has never seen the face of a mother, a person who has never seen the beauty of a sunrise, the beauty of a rose, you're giving that gift. So I think your father has given that gift. So I think you should feel blessed that he has made that difference. So please don't feel bad about, like I said, everyone cannot. Today, even if I have pledged all my organs, but if it's not a brain death, I cannot donate my organs. So giving the vision is a huge gift that your family has done. And you're blessed, your family is blessed to have done that. Yeah.
Hi, you talked about Spain, and it reminded me of my friend who went for a holiday with her husband, and her husband died there. He was 43 and she was 39, and she gave the body, and the doctor said that this will help 300 people with the skin and eyes, and the body was given to the medical school.
Wonderful. So many tissues. Our body is a treasure house of organs. We have so many organs, so many tissues, more than 50, 60, how many lives can be benefited? So really it is, like I said, it is a miracle of medical science that we have with us. And I also want to, any more questions that we have? Today we have Bhagyashree with us who has pledged, but there are many others from Bollywood, and we Indians have two great loves. One is Bollywood and the other is cricket, right? So from the world of Bollywood, we have so many who have pledged from the yesteryears to the current Hema Malini, Sunil Shetty, Juhi Chawla, Sonakshi Sinha, so many, Amir Khan, Priyanka Chopra, Aishwarya Rai. Anyone here has heard of Amitabh Bachchan? Anyone? Heard of Amitabh Bachchan? Yes? So Mr. Amitabh Bachchan has pledged all his organs. And so many. And from the world of cricket, like I mentioned to you the story of our former captain, Mr. M.K. Pataudi, Saif Ali Khan's father. He actually donated his eyes, not just pledged. His one good eye was donated. And after him, Gautam Gambhir, he became the first cricketer to donate his, to pledge his eyes. Gautam Gambhir and Vinod Kambli and Anil Kumble and the entire Delhi Daredevils team. Kapil Dev has also pledged his organs, and he's pledged with the foundation. And very recently, there was his film 83. How many of us have seen that film? 83, yes? So I'm very grateful that our organization, INOX, supports our foundation. And a very beautiful clip, Kapil Dev and I did it jointly, that was played in the interval of 83, Pan-India. At that time, I think there was another wave of the COVID, so I don't know how many saw it during that period. But I would like to share that message of Kapil Dev, and there's so many others who feel for the cause. So can we have that clip by Kapil Dev?
Actually, we had shared already shared Kapil Dev's message, Shruti.
No, that was made by Ashish.
Yeah,
we made. I shared, yeah.
आप सबको मेरा प्रणाम। मैं चाहता हूँ कि जिस दिन मैं ना रहूँ इस दुनिया में और मेरा कोई भी अंग किसी के काम आ सकता है, चाहे वो आँख हो, नाक हो, हाथ हो, पाँव हो, दिल हो, कुछ भी, इससे बड़ी देन कुछ नहीं हो सकती कि मैं किसी को कुछ अपना अंग दे के जाऊँ। और मैं चाहूँगा कि आप भी अगर ये कर सके तो कितना बेहतर होगा। हमारे देश में कोई भी ऐसा इंसान ना हो जिसको थोड़ी सी भी कम खुशी मिली है वो हम ना दे सकें। नमस्कार।
Choose to be an organ donor. Choose to live king size, die king size. Shall we play the other side or let's share
Take up one because I can see people leaving now.
Fine. So, any more questions? So, I would like to just recite a little poem of mine, which was actually played at Inox in all 44 theatres across West Bengal for a month in 2019. A poem very close to my heart. मुझे फूंकने से पहले मेरा दिल निकाल लेना। किसी और की अमानत कहीं साथ ना चल जाए। सबसे कीमती सामान है मेरा, बड़ा नाजुक है, बड़ा कोमल है, बड़ा चंचल है। संभाल कर रख लेना इसे बस, मेरे बाद किसी सुर की ताल बना देना। मुझे फूंकने से पहले मेरा दिल निकाल लेना। Thank you.
This was so emotional, Shruti. It was so beautiful. And I would also like to give a message to my audience, especially for the members of Flow who are sitting at home today. All of you, please spread a word. You know, when we touch an offbeat topic like this, it is for all of you to get something. I'm sure everybody here is very emotional right now and is sensitive about what we just discussed, and think of what people have missed who have not attended today's program. So spread a word that when we are trying to bring something different, you know, when I call a Bollywood star and I have like 350, 400 people, and for a cause like this and I don't see my people, I miss that.
You know, like I said, सब घबरा जाते हैं, सबको लगता है हम यहाँ ही निकाल रहे हैं kidneys and liver. So hats off to the audience who has been here today.
Yes.
You know, there's a Chinese saying that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And you have taken the first step today by being here to find out more. And now, members of FICCI Ladies Organization, Hyderabad, perched as we are on the 75th year of India's independence, and perched as we are on World Organ Donation Day on 13th August. In this land of brave hearts, in this land of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, in this land of Chandrasekhar Azad, how many brave hearts am I going to see here today in this audience who are going to take that pledge today, who are going to sign? Oh, look at that. Ladies of the FICCI Flow Hyderabad, this is wonderful. I have to take this on my own phone. This is just beautiful.
No, you can, why don't you turn and take a selfie?
Yeah, okay. We can, yeah. This is just so wonderful. So FICCI Flow Hyderabad, you have stunned me by your response. I knew that, you know, this is going to be a land of sensitive people, the way this event was being organized. And salute to you all for having this event and for giving such a warm response to this life-saving cause.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Bhagyashree and Ms. Shruti Mota, for addressing such a noble cause and clarifying the myths regarding the organ donation. Well, this was one of the most beautiful interactive sessions that we've had. We are very grateful to you to enlighten us with all the myths that we've had in our hearts that this is right, this is wrong. Well, once again, a big round of applause for our speakers. On this note, I would request Ms. Prashanti Shekhar to get the autograph sheet signed by both our guests. I would now request Vice Chair Ms. Ritu Shah, Senior Vice Chair Ms. Ritu Shah to deliver her vote of thanks. Thank you once again. You've been a wonderful audience. And we, after the vote of thanks, all of you could step forward for a solo picture with Ms. Bhagyashree.
A very good evening to one and all. Alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much, said Helen Keller. Don't look for big things, just do small things with great love. The smaller the thing, the greater must be our love. On this note, I, Ritu Shah, on behalf of FICCI Flow Hyderabad, take this opportunity to thank our two phenomenal humans, Bhagyashree and Shruti Mohta, for gracing our chapter today with their inspirational presence. And on a lighter note, I'm so glad not only humans, but even animals got, had it not been for an elephant, Lord Ganesha wouldn't have been with us here today. So you don't change the world with the ideas in your mind, but with the conviction in your heart. And you both have proved that so well. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you to our sponsors, Platinum sponsor, Argentum Arts, the Silversmith, Diamond sponsor, Freedom Rice Bran Oil, Hospitality partner, The Park, Creative partner, RBC. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you, press and media, for the continued support. Gratitude to all our pillars, our past chairpersons, for always guiding us to get better and better each event-wise. Yeah. Our members are our strength, and your presence today means a lot to us. Thank you, members. Thank you, committees 2022-23, for consistently working for the chairperson and the organization. Organ donation is not a tragedy, but it can be a beautiful light in the midst of one. Be a thinker, be a doer, be a donor. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Ladies, please, one by one. See, we are still in that pandemic phase only. It's not one by one. Maintain a little bit of distance. And please come. Gunjan? Yeah.
She's been solo pictures. Please requesting you to go in a very organized way. Excuse me, ma'am. Go in an organized way. We should.